like to get a hold of the person that's running that website and get him on just for a couple minutes.
Good evening, folks, and welcome live from Austin, Texas. This is the long-running
You better give the date too.
Jeff Davis Show. We are live here tonight at we're having some few technical difficulties. Here we go. 16 May 2011. Have another hot show lined up here. We've got, as Gary Teague mentioned, all-star cast just loaded with personalities and radio hosts and actors, and Mike's done some acting and
Really?
yeah, author. That's right, author.
Day.
Yeah, BBC did a big interview with him. So, of course, Mr. Johnson over here with his radio show on Rule of Law Radio Network.com.
Yes.
Gary Teague at IMDb, looking awful impressive. His IMDb, he's like Bernie, the feature film Bernie that shot here in last October, November. They've got his picture up there, right up there with McConaughey and Black, and on his IMDb. That's great stuff, man. Great stuff. Okay, folks, I'd like to say hello to Mr. Eric Gerstenberg and Mr. Paul Ferris, who said that they are attending the show on Facebook. I do an invite, I do an event on Facebook, and it pops up on the side, the day of the event, and people can come in there and I'm attending. We had a lot of I'm attendings this time. So there's that Facebook, Gary. There's that Facebook.
You're on the list now, Jeff.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we get any plugs for YouTube?
Oh, yeah. Mike Hansen Archives. Mike Hansen Archives on YouTube. Also,
That was just a joke, Jeff.
Google Jeff Davis Show. That's the best. If you want anything, right there, Mike Hansen Archives.
Or you can just put Jeff Davis, Mike Hansen in there, and it'll come up. All your stuff will come
Does
up.
it?
Yeah, it'll come up.
I know if you Google Jeff Davis Show, there's like 200 things that
Yeah,
come up.
well, we're putting more up every day.
Good.
Hopefully.
Good.
Nate, get it done.
Okay, we're going to start off here. We've got Tags Heather Fazio, and she's going to be coming on here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about some things going on at the Texas legislature, a victory in the Texas legislature. About did you hear that they voted to ban pat-downs in the Austin in the Texas airports?
That's a good
Of course, the feds, they're already saying they're superseding that. So.
I've already banned them anyway because I won't fly with them.
And there's our wonderful control room, the lovely Lorraine Denardis, my son in there doing a fantastic, there it is right there. Texas House passes bill banning TSA airport groping. Okay, now, before that, though, and we're going to play some of the real deal with myself and Mr. Alex Jones way back in, about 1998, 97, something like that?
Well, it was 96.
96,
I don't
way
know.
back. We're going to play a little bit of that during my smoke break. But until then, we're going to go to Mr. Legendary Director, Author,
I think we got
newsman, Mr. Mike Hansen.
Yeah. I think we got a little bit of victory in the courts. What's
going on with your ticket?
Judge Schwarter, I guess his name is, in Gonzales, Texas, was kind of forced to resign. And if you can bring that article up, what it was, he gave a very big, I heard through the grapevine, this is not in stone yet because nobody will really tell the details. He gave a heavy fine to some underage kid, and the parents had him investigate it, and they found out he was a legal judge. So, in my opinion,
Why
Jeff,
was he an illegal judge?
Because he didn't live in the city limits, and he was breaking the city charter.
And he was there for 30 years.
30 years. And
wow, that's something.
Here's my opinion. As long as he was a legal judge, I think that anybody that was sentenced under him, they should get their record cleared, and the fine that he made them pay. If he made anybody pay any fines under that illegal term, I think they should get their money back, even though it could probably break the city of Gonzales. And that's what I'm going to say tomorrow night. They're having a special called meeting tomorrow night at the Gonzales City Council building tomorrow.
At the municipal building where we were?
Where you were.
You go
right
down
in front
there
of
and speak?
I go there every time they have a meeting.
I was just while you're here. I've been thinking about those stupid ass tickets you showed us here last week.
Yeah.
I want to ask Travis County, who's the victim of this alleged crime?
I think we're the victim.
You got two tickets, one for speeding and one for
no. The
stop
speeding ticket got dismissed because of
you
retaliation.
had a ticket, nevertheless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but who? There's no. See, there's no victim in this.
Well, I went back again last Wednesday, and I got in there, and the first thing they asked me is, "Do you have an attorney?" And I said, "No, I don't have an attorney." I just stated to the court that the attorney said I couldn't get a fair trial here. Boy, they didn't want to hear that, so they just put me off another 2 months. They come back in 2 months and have an attorney when you come back. So it's just
What if you don't want an attorney?
Well, I played that at first. Well, I didn't have to have one. Now I'm saying I can't proceed without assistance of counsel. You get it, Gary?
Okay.
They just keep putting it off. But
They needed to dismiss it.
She threatened this time if I don't come back with an attorney that I'll probably be held. That's
Be held.
That's what she said.
For what? For a
I asked
stop sign.
I asked her if I was being held without my will right now. And she said, if you don't bring an attorney next time, you might be. That's what exact words.
So what's her name?
Mueller.
Judge Mueller.
The same as the
Travis
as
County?
the airport. Yes.
Said Travis County.
Yes.
Judge Mueller.
Yes. And I had another judge before her that was really, really nice. And she retired.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, she was. So she was.
They're
really
all
nice.
putting people in jail
Yeah.
for pot possession.
There was also this one guy there that was standing up to the court, and he acted like he knew a lot of the stuff that some of us know, and they took him out, and I never saw him again.
But you understand, though, Mike. There's no victim.
What do you mean they took?
They took him out, and I never saw him, and never heard from him again. And I had slipped him a note saying, "My name is Mike Hansen," and say listen to Rule of Law Radio and this and that, just to see if he knew it was in our group. And he never called me, and so I don't know if he's still in jail or what. But he kind of stood up to him, and they sent the bailiffs in and got him and took him out of there.
Yeah.
So all I say is I understand, Your Honor, because there's no use in antagonizing them any more than what they're already, just like I heard on the radio a while ago, you're kind of a burr in their saddle, and they can squish you in that saddle.
So you're going to go down and speak. I think it's pretty clear that the Gonzales City leadership, they're
falling apart.
It's a shambles.
It's falling apart.
Now,
it really is. They just fired the city manager, a month or two
and,
ago.
One of the councilmen resigned amid voter fraud.
Well, yeah, one of them, and then one of them that was running voters fraud.
Yeah.
So this could break the city if they do end up giving all the money back to all these victims. That
I'm not sure they give the money. They all the victims may get a new trial.
Well, that can break them too.
Yeah.
You know how many people that could ultimately be?
Yes.
So I just talked to the news, Nikki Maxwell. She
Gonzales
said
Cannon.
She said she really
Jimmy.
She couldn't talk about it. There it is right there. She really couldn't talk about it before the meeting tomorrow night. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll let you know.
Jimmy Ritter's watching us from outside. Hey, I thank you for hitting Facebook that you're attending the Jeff Davis.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're all here at the Jeff Davis show.
Are you still smoking, Jimmy? Come on in here and show everybody.
A long time.
Oh, really?
Now I got the rubber hose up my nose and all that.
Is that what smoking does to you?
But
Jeff?
combine it with
Alex,
concrete plants, asphalt plants,
You're
industrial
driving
in Vietnam.
Well, that was 40 years ago.
Well, they dusted
A lot of concrete plants, a lot of asphalt plants, a lot of rock quarries. I built this city with my
I know
dump
you
truck.
did.
Yeah.
But that contributed to your disease.
Well, it's COPD. It's
because of
concrete dust.
Inhaling all those.
Plus road
You know, my father died at 49 years old from same thing Jimmy has, but he was a mortician, and they used to breathe in that.
Somebody wants to eat.
What's it called?
Okay,
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
What's that, Mondays?
It's just over. Monday, 7 o'clock.
And smoking while they were there, too. He was
The
smoking
cigarettes-
over the dead body.
cigarettes broke the back. The concrete and the asphalt was bad enough. The oil fumes. Aggregates.
Yeah.
rock quarries, you know.
Diesel fumes. Let's blame a little bit on diesel
you
fumes.
can up and down 35 with the window open, a cigarette in my hand. And
Well, you attend, as you said on your on Facebook, you attended the Jeff Davis show.
I appreciate you too, Jeff.
Yes. Godspeed to your health.
10-4.
Hello,
All
Chris
right.
Ritter.
I'm going to get back in there.
Okay.
If we get the next Heather in
Oh,
here.
yeah, there it is. Right there you are, Jimmy. See, you're up there.
Where?
My picture. That's not me.
Yeah, it is over there on Who's
There it is,
Attending.
yeah.
James
Dump truck.
Ritter.
That old dump truck.
Yep.
Yeah, for too long.
And he built in Mount Carmel, too, with his dump truck.
You see some...
Right. That dump
Yeah.
truck's been to Mount Carmel.
That's right, good. You see some new folks up there, too, who I acknowledged earlier. Eric, take care, Jimmy. Chris, love you.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
Okay, Heather.
Okay, now we bring in, have Real Spin get ready. Come on, Heather. Okay, now we're going to talk to the lovely Miss Heather Fazio. Here's your stuff here.
Thank you.
We switched you around a little bit.
Okay.
Now, before I get into some of the issues, I want to say something about Chris Bailey. He was a guest on this show a couple of weeks ago.
Great.
And he mentioned that you were his campaign manager.
Yeah, I was helping. I don't know if I deserve manager because he certainly managed that campaign and did a great job doing it.
Well, I told him on the show that I, for one, have lost a lot of faith in the integrity of the voting system, even the actual vote counting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that being said, if the numbers are true, he got almost 3,000 votes.
Almost 2,000.
I thought it was 2,000 and something.
Maybe including early voting, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's, when you think about it, that's a lot of people voting for liberty.
Yep, sure is.
That's a lot of people voting for liberty.
Yeah, and there's ways to win without winning. Sometimes a campaign is a vehicle to get your message out there, and he did that. He went to every forum, filled out every questionnaire, and everybody that was in those audiences or reading those articles found out what the libertarian position is. Although he didn't claim himself to be a libertarian during the campaign, but he got the message out there, and he got them talking about privatizing Austin Energy. No other candidates are talking about that kind of stuff, and so I feel like the campaign was a huge victory in and of itself because of that.
Yeah. I was watching the vote totals as they came in. Now you, another thing I'd like to just mention, I would love to see TAG, Texans for Accountable Government, get more involved in ending some of these prohibitions here in Texas.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Now, Ron Paul, his advocacy is a good one. He says, legalize drugs, legalize prostitution, the same kind of things, and do it for a freedom reason, because people should be able to have the right to smoke whatever they want or sleep with whoever they want. So that's a good advocacy, a freedom advocacy. But I've approached it more from the all the death and the mayhem and the tyranny that's being created by sending people out with guns to enforce the prohibitions. That's the angle I've taken on it. It's really rough.
It is, and a lot of the time they're using the violence on the border as a pretext for increasing the police state or creating more laws, rather than just getting to the very root of the problem, which is the prohibition of these drugs to begin with.
That's right.
The black market that's created by prohibition gives a market to criminals and to the cartels to thrive in. I mean, they're making so much money purely because we prohibit it, and that's why it's so attractive to people that are willing to do awful things in order to make that money.
In California, there's like 6,000 pot retail shops. Did you know that?
Yeah.
People can just go in and get pot, hash, whatever they want.
Yeah, it's great, and that's definitely a great thing, and it's beautiful to see that market developing. But with that comes the regulation of it, and so you have to increase the size of government in order to legalize it in that way. And so, I know that there was a proposition that recently failed, and I was wondering the libertarian perspective on it, because I know that a lot of libertarians are very purists. We're going to do it the right way or not at all. And I think that a lot of them would be unwilling to legalize it if it was going to put in place a bigger bureaucracy to regulate it. And so I wonder about how that's going to go when it comes to Texas. There was a really great bill, 1491 had been introduced by Elliot Neistat, which was a medical marijuana bill. And it was really good because all it did was repeal. It didn't create anything. It just allowed it allowed a doctor to write a prescription, and it allowed you to get out of a ticket for possession if you had a prescription.
Would you agree? From my perspective, Heather, the war on drugs has turned America's police and sheriff departments into terrorist organization. Would you agree with that statement?
I would absolutely agree with that. I think that people
Complete
are more
with black ski
terrified.
masks.
Yeah, I think that people are certainly more terrified of our government than they are of the terrorists that are out there that they're trying to, or criminals that they're trying to protect us from.
And you grew up in Williamson County, am I right?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, I thought you said Lee. I thought your Facebook said Leander.
That is the high school that I went to.
Oh,
I moved there when I was 15, so I guess kind of grew up there. I was there for 3 years before I
Yeah.
moved out.
And last time you were on the show, you said that's bad news.
Yeah, Leander or
So Williamson-
Williamson County and Montgomery County.
Are bad
and
news.
yep, the bad news in Montgomery County happens to be where Senator Tommy Williams, the person that introduced SB 9, is from. So that went, just corroborated that story.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about. I think there was a victory, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Last Thursday night, the House passed HB 1937, which is the anti-groping bill that David Simpson introduced. And really, it doesn't do anything except say that if it's a crime, then anybody can be prosecuted for it. I mean, the unwanted touching of private parts is a crime. And just because it's a government officer or agent doing it does not make it legal. And that's what we're doing here in Texas, is to protect our travelers from, TSA thugs, as far as I'm concerned, saying that they have the right to put their hands in our pants just because we want to travel. Totally unacceptable. So Thursday night that passed. And it was due to a lot of really great work by the activists that showed up. We were there until 2 a.m. testifying on the 22nd of March. And we had 35 people who came out, and 20 of them stuck it through all the way till 2 a.m. It was a 12-hour day. And they stuck it out, and we got that bill passed through the House, and now it's on its way to the Senate. So if you can call your senator and encourage them to support HB 1937 when it does come up for vote in the Senate.
HB 1937.
Yep, that's right.
Now, what about the argument that the feds can supersede it?
The TSA released a statement that said that the Supremacy Clause says that the states can't regulate the federal government. But what we're talking about here is a policy, not a regulation, not a law. There is nothing that says that they have to do this. And so this is us saying that your policy is illegitimate and your policy is in violation of our rights that are protected by the Constitution.
Well, if a federal agent commits a crime, can he be prosecuted under state law? What if he has a parking ticket? Can he? I mean, they're all federal agents are prosecuted all the time. So why would this be any different?
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm not sure on all the details about where it would go in court. I know that during testimony, David Simpson and his whole office and team were very diligent about making sure that they addressed all of these issues in committee. And I think that is the only reason that it was able to get passed out, and with only one substitute bill, one to change the wording a little bit. But I'm not sure on all the details about where they'd get prosecuted and how we enforce it.
Well, I was going to say that, if you are at the airport, I guess you would file a complaint with
Right. I would like to see more people doing that. Calling 911 right then and there and saying, this man is trying to put his hands in my pants and he tells me that I don't have the right to exercise my right to travel if I don't let him. And so, file charges. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try this summer to fly out of Austin. I know that I'm not going to be able to get back out of California without it. So I'm anticipating taking a train home. But I think that I might be able to get out of Austin without being molested. So
Wow.
I'm hopeful.
Based upon this, now it's still got to pass the Senate.
It does. It has to pass the Senate. It hasn't been referred yet, but it will be referred because it was just completely made it out of the Senate today, or the House today. It was signed, and so now it'll be referred either tomorrow or the next day, and so then it'll go to a Senate committee.
Yeah.
Now, this is a freshman who introduced this.
It is.
So, first of all, it's important because usually they don't get anything. They can't get anything done. So, can you tell us a little bit more about this sponsor of the bill?
Representative Simpson, he's the author of the bill. It did end up with 94 co-authors or co-sponsors in the House, which is why it passed by a unanimous voice vote on Thursday night. And he has introduced a couple other bills. One of them was 1938, which is a bill that will ban the scanners, and it doesn't ban them entirely. It bans them; they can't use them without probable cause, and so they have to say somebody is suspicious and then put them through that if that's what they want to do. Another really great bill that he introduced was one on.
You can get a search warrant too.
Yeah, well, probable cause. That's a good question. Reasonable suspicion. I hate those lines.
But you still need a search warrant.
So blur, right? Exactly. And then another really great bill that he introduced. I can't remember the number right off the top of my head, but it was relating to precious metals. And the law right now says that if you purchase more than $1,000 worth of precious metals, there's no sales tax on it. But everything under that, under $1,000, does have sales tax. And so this bill would make it so that there is no sales tax on the purchase of gold or silver.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a real stand-up guy for a Republican. He's great. But he's introduced a lot of great stuff, and he put in so much hard work to get this bill passed. And if it wasn't for his diligence and his commitment to getting this passed, it would never have made it as far as it did.
Folks, if you'd like to call in, we just had a call in here. We'll go about another 5 minutes or so here. Then we're going to play about a 10-minute video. We're going to bring Lorraine Denardis in here. I'm going to take a break. And so
there's some other bills coming. You're telling me all the good news. There's some bad news, though,
yeah.
isn't there?
Well, there is a bit of bad news. More good news first.
Okay.
I will let everybody know that sobriety checkpoints is officially dead, that it
good.
will not be passing out of the Senate. So that's a really great thing.
Yeah.
But with that good news, there is some bad news. The southbound checkpoints are something they're trying to do to address the war on drugs, to address all the money and the guns going back down to Mexico.
That's the excuse given.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And so what the bill does is they're called southbound checkpoints. And I don't know if it'll make it out. I think we testified to the fact that this is trying to, treat the symptom rather than the bigger disease that's plaguing us. And we talked about prohibition. And so hopefully that one's dead, but we haven't gotten official word from that one quite yet because it did make it out of its first committee. So it's still kind of in limbo. Another one is the Real ID bill. It's Senate Bill 9, and it had a lot of really ugly provisions in it when it first got introduced. It would have allowed for driver's license and insurance checkpoints. It would have allowed the DPS to use GPS tracking devices on vehicles without a court order. Yeah. And the reason was, well, the FBI can do it. Why can't we? And, another part of it, another provision, they wanted to remove the requirement for an overt act to prove conspiracy. So with the demonstration that was done on the Tuesday before the hearing, I don't know if y'all heard about that, but some Austin activists dressed up as Nazis and went and presented to their office. Oh, great. Good.
That, yeah.
Well, as a direct result of that demonstration, the very next morning they introduced a substitute bill and it removed the provision for checkpoints.
Good.
So that demonstration in and of itself was a blast and totally effective. So that worked. And then we all testified and we did our professional testimony and told them the real reasons why a lot of these things are bad. And at that time, we didn't realize this was Real ID. We were talking about the other provisions. And they also, then they introduced another substitute bill and it removed the GPS tracking devices. It removed the conspiracy thing. And there's some other drug fines that it eliminated. But we learned during testimony that the bottom line is, there we are. That was so much fun. And the bottom line with this bill is that it is a Real ID implementation bill. Director McCraw, during his testimony, said that this brings us into compliance with Real ID and it nationalizes our driver's license. And he proceeds to talk about the biometric information that's going to be collected, and that's why we need all this new equipment and more centers, because they're going to be collecting an unprecedented amount of biometric information. They need all new equipment to collect our facial scans, and then they're going to be collecting all of our fingerprints rather than just our thumb. And if that isn't bad enough, they're going to run us all through federal and state criminal databases to make sure we're not fugitives from law.
Interesting. Okay, want to try a call real quick here? Okay, welcome. You're on Worldwide.
Hey, Jeff, it's Nate.
Hi, sir. Hi, we can't hear you. Hold on a minute, sir. Take a quick. Go ahead, sir.
Hello.
No, I still can't hear. Okay, hold on, sir. Hold on.
Hello.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Not yet.
Hello.
Okay, just say hold on. We'll be.
Yeah, hold on, sir. Okay, so
So tomorrow, there's a hearing, and they're going to take up pending business. And the reason why Senate Bill 9 is still pending
Who is
business, they is the committee, the Homeland Security and Public Safety Committee. And it was testimony was taken last Tuesday in the morning. They rushed it through. They put us at the very end. It was only an hour-long hearing, and they they suspended testimony in the middle of it and then canceled the rest of the hearing. So all of us that went up there, with the exception of 3 of us, couldn't testify or register our position.
Now, which one's this one?
This is Senate Bill 9.
Oh, this is the one that does what now?
Because
what is
it
this
passed. This is the Real ID bill.
Oh, that's okay.
The
Because it
fingerprints
has
and the face
passed out of
scans.
the Senate now and is now in the House committee.
Okay.
Hello?
Not yet, sir.
Hello?
I don't know what's up.
You push the button.
Hello?
No. Let me try. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Well, I was going to say, Heather, that it's really a sign of the times that the state of Texas legislature
We're
has
working
a
on it. We have Channel
Homeland
Austin
Security
staff on
Committee.
in
I mean,
there.
that's obviously driven by the federal government.
Absolutely, in both chambers.
Try it now, sir.
Hello?
There you go.
There you are.
Hi,
Hey,
sir.
Heather, Jeff and Gary and Gary. It's
Yes.
Nate.
Hey,
Nate.
Nate. What's going on?
Hey, Heather, I got a question. Given that the Senate passes the TSA anti-groping thing, what do you think the odds are that the governor will sign it?
Well, he has already said that he will sign it, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, we definitely have a lot of momentum on our side, and if we can push hard enough, and I mean we as in the grassroots, and making sure that all of our senators understand that this is important to us and we expect them to pass it just like the House did, then I think that we have a real shot at getting this passed, and it will be the only substantial piece of legislation passed this session. With all of this, 10th Amendment and state sovereignty rhetoric that we've been hearing from Republicans for the last 2 years, nothing has gotten passed. They have their own select committee on state sovereignty and haven't passed a damn thing. And it's a freshman that is actually introduced something, and it's a freshman who's actually getting something done. So, I've said before that the Tea Party is a complete failure because all it did was get Republicans elected.
They're
But-
misguided. Those people are misguided.
Well, but they did get David Simpson elected, and so he got elected by this movement, and so I'm grateful, and I will say that it wasn't a complete failure.
Well, they support warmongering and prohibitions, and so to me,
Well,
it's like a Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, those neocons. That's what I look at it as.
Well, the Tea Party was started by the Ron Paul movement, actually, but
Exactly.
then it got taken over by in Texas. It was the New Revolution Now and the Americans for Prosperity and those groups, big money groups that took over. We saw it happen in Austin, but so the governor is behind this. Should people maybe even try to contact the governor?
Well,
governor-
I encourage everyone to call everyone and let them know how they feel. Make at least one phone call to all of them. Call the Attorney General too, and let him know that you have his back and that we're going to pass this, and then we're going to defend it.
Heather, usually the TSA, I assume, is against this, but who else is against this? I mean, the public obviously hates the airport groping, so there's plenty of grassroots support. Is there any organized opposition to this?
I haven't seen any. I mean, it's always the TSA coming out, I guess it's always just the TSA. There really is no support for it at all for these kinds of procedures. I mean, they'll get the candid interviews from people at the airport that are just kind of like, whatever keeps me safe. But, they don't care enough to actually fight for it. We care enough to get rid of it, though. And so that's what you're seeing right here.
Well, I've seen talking heads on Fox News and stuff that support it. They say, yeah, I don't mind being groped as long as I'm being protected and the government's keeping me safe from the Islamo-fascists.
Right. Chris, they're all in private jets on Fox News.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. And don't forget that is the TSA speaking.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much. All right. Well, I just wanted to get the thing out about the governor and where he stands on it. I wasn't really sure about that.
Great. Thanks for calling, Nate.
All right.
Hey, Nate, can you see what's on the screen now?
He's probably behind.
No, it's a few minutes behind.
Oh, okay.
Well, I want to ask him.
Go ahead.
Nate, did you find out anything about this Romeo and Juliet law we got on the screen now?
No, I haven't had time.
The guy, I still haven't been able to get a hold of the guy that is in charge of this. But I think it's a good idea, according to this article here.
Well, ask Heather what she thinks about it.
I think Heather's for it too.
Yeah, I do support it. I think that consensual sex should be legal. I don't think that the government has any place in that. And, I think that there are circumstances where young girls or young men are taken advantage of by someone older.
Well, that's rape, though.
Right. Well, I didn't mean forced. I
Yeah.
mean taken advantage of, as far as, how girls can be
Well,
taken advantage of by a 15-year-old guy.
Making lists of people in the first place. I mean, I'm really against making lists of people because, now they're talking about making lists of animal abusers, and they're going to put that out there.
Well,
Gary says they've already got lists.
I know somebody. I know somebody in Gonzales that was 18 and she was 15, and he went to prison for 6.5 years because of that.
Wow.
And they're still together now. It's been about 15 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever it's been. But he's forced to register as a sex offender and they send out a card every 6 months, like the crime just happened.
Right.
Probably
now.
has
That's the
to
problem with
pay
the list.
150
Once you're on
bucks
this list,
for the
you're in.
next 10 years.
No, he has to
Like
register on his birthday
that.
every
but
year.
you have to pay every month.
Well, I got 2 notices in my mail about this guy too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
it makes you think that he just did it. That it's something you need to call in right now
well, it
about.
makes you think that he's a predator. That
Yeah.
he's out
Right.
he's roaming the streets and hanging out at schoolyards and stuff.
And it's not true. He's married to the girl, or he lives with this girl, 15 years, or actually 16 and a half years later, he's still with the same girl. And I think this is going to cover him, right?
I think so.
Because I just seen I'll put that back up. It said on there if you're 18, I think it said right here, if you can read that, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds who enters in consensual sex. See, with a female under 17, I think that's going to cover him.
Well, is it retroactive? Does it go, or is it just for
making
I don't
offenses?
know that.
blacklists about people? It ruins their lives, and,
Right.
and all it does is it keeps them from getting jobs,
Right.
and they end up going downhill, into more of a life of crime.
Well, you saw what happened, Nate.
I don't think making lists of people is a good idea. Where I don't like. Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote the book The Scarlet Letter, where they put a mark on you. Why don't we just tattoo all our crimes on our forehead, and then everybody can know what every crime that every person's ever committed.
Nate, you need to tell them the story about what happened. I had the guy working at your house, your neighborhood group, the moral busybodies of the neighborhood group came over and told me I couldn't have this guy in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Told me.
that.
They actually told me I could not have this guy in the neighborhood. And
Yeah.
then and just because he had sex when he was 18 years old, like how many years ago, 15 years ago, he had sex. Oh, that's a crime. But anyway, he spent, and like I told the busybody, he spent 6.5 years in prison. What else do you want from the guy to get him fired now? And I mean, and then she had the nerve. She had the nerve to ask the guy, "Well, can you come to our neighborhood group and maybe we can get an insight on the criminal mind?" This is how these people think. That are just moral busybodies. I call
No,
them.
they wanted to ask you for the insight on the criminal mind.
Why would they want to ask me for it? I don't have a criminal record. That's what I told her. I said, "How are you going to get rid of me out of the neighborhood group now? Because I don't have a criminal record."
Well, you got a couple of tickets here, Reese.
No, I hadn't been convicted on them yet.
Criminal.
I have not been convicted, Jeff. Until I'm convicted, I'm innocent.
That's right.
We're in America in 2011. Convictions aren't necessary.
Anything?
What other legislation's going on, Heather?
Well, we're getting really to the end, and so a lot of things have died in committee, which is exactly what we want them to do. I would rather them pass nothing at all than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I'm glad that sobriety checkpoints is dead because we worked really hard and we stayed there until 1 a.m. on that hearing. And fortunately, it ended up being a really good thing that we were there that late because they voted on pending business, which was the pat down bill. So we got to be there when they voted it out of committee, and we applauded and cheered, and we were all so happy. and they looked at us. They couldn't believe it. One of them was laughing. It was great. And then when it was passed in the House, I got to be there too. I was still downtown, and I saw that it was coming up, and so we jetted over there and got up into the gallery and got there right in time. And so when it passed, we were cheering and yelling, and they told us that we had to stop clapping, and I guess I'm just being a little ornery, but I just kept clapping, and I kept going, and then the DPS was coming at us from both sides in the gallery, and so we just continued to cheer as we walked out. So it was great, a little civil disobedience to show our excitement for actually getting something of substance passed.
You know, years ago they passed, the federal government passed this law called the Paperwork Reduction Act.
Right, I remember that.
And I was thinking, why not a law reduction act? You know, where we go through stupid laws and say, we don't need this one, we don't need this one, we don't need this one.
Well, supposedly that is what the legislative session is supposed to be, where we can repeal and amend and create new legislation. The problem is that people aren't paying attention anymore. The problem is that we are not vigilant about holding our representatives accountable. People get involved during the election cycle and think that they're doing their work, and then that's it. Or they go to a rally at the Capitol and then they're done. But they're not paying attention to all of the details about what's going on.
There's spy drones flying over the skies of Texas. Can you believe that?
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when I heard it. I had to go check it out and see the footage for myself.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
All right, well, I'll let you go. Good job, Heather. Keep up the fight.
Thank you.
Heather stepped up with TAG and is really doing a heck of a job.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Nate.
Talk to you later.
Okay. All right. Welcome. You're on Worldwide.
Is this the Atheist Experience?
I'm sorry. No, it's not, sir. Are you calling from Atlanta, Georgia?
No.
Okay. This is the Jeff Davis Show, 22 years running.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to talk Texas politics?
We're talking Texas politics.
Well, I'm from Louisiana. I think we should be ran like Texas.
Great. Well,
they got actually a program called the Atheist Experience
yes.
that ran out in Texas. That I just was trying to call because it's kind of funny that they preach a lot about that we came from apes. They're evolutionists. So why would you call your show the Atheist Experience when you say we came from evolution?
What we talk about here, sir, is government intrusion on civil liberties, police corruption, tyrannical bills in the legislature, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Where are you calling? Where are you calling from, sir?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Are you watching online right now?
No, this number popped up online for the people I was trying to call. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Inconvenience.
Google Jeff Davis Show, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and any final comments before we go to the video from anybody?
What's the video about?
I think there's another
we're going to
here.
play a 1996 video of me and Mr. Alex Jones on KJFK.
Cool. Well, no, before we do switch, I would like to encourage everybody to visit
1997.
1990. We're only like 10 minutes worth. We still got plenty of time to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to encourage people to go to tagtexas.org
There you go.
to find out more about what's going on. I know that a lot of people are mad as hell and they're deciding that they're not going to take it anymore and they don't know where to go or how to get involved or what to do. And that is what TAG is all about, is us getting together and figuring out what are we going to do about this. And we meet on the last Monday of every month at Sherlock's, which is on Burnett and 183 at 7 o'clock. And it's a great opportunity to come, and it's in a casual environment at a pub. You can come get a beer. For a lot of people, this is their opportunity to come and be around other like-minded people, because it's really hard to be beat down for so long and be told that you're wrong and that you don't know what you're talking about, when you do in your heart know that liberty is the answer for us, that humans are designed to be free. We are supposed to be free, and we are absolutely not free in this country. Yeah. And we need to work to be free, and that's what we're doing.
We're not free to smoke what we want to, are
we? Civil disobedience.
But there's more. When I was on national radio, starting in like 1996, I quickly found out that there's more freedom fighters in Central Texas than anywhere else in the country. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got TAG doing some great work. You've got the Texas Militia; they're doing some good work. You've got Texas Nationalist Movement with Dan Miller, Texas Normal, they have big rallies and marches. And
Yep, the Citizens Commission on Human Rights is a really great organization too.
There's lots of them.
Yeah.
Libertarian Party, the Libertarian Longhorns. Are you familiar with them?
Oh yeah, I love those guys. Taylor Medding is one of the Libertarian Longhorns and
Norman
has stepped
Horn.
up so hard. Yes, he did a really great job on 1937. He helped draft the legislation and everything. But yeah, I feel really fortunate to have ended up here. We were talking earlier about I'm from California originally. I've been here for 11 years, and when I moved, I was miserable. Moved up to Leander, Texas. City girl from California, and I feel really blessed to be here. And that is why, is because of all the energy and the synergy of everybody here working for a good cause and getting out there and doing it, not just being armchair patriots or, on Facebook posting things and getting into arguments, but actually affecting change right here locally. And that's what TAG's all about, is localizing our efforts where our resources and our energy are more effective, because we can call our congressmen and try to change federal legislation, but the bottom line is they prove to us with the bailouts under both administrations that they don't give a damn what we think or how we feel or any logic or reason. And so we're localizing our efforts and we're seeing real change. I mean, for example, water fluoridation. We're absolutely opposed to water fluoridation.
Elgin, it's been banned in Elgin.
And Lago Vista recently. It's great.
Yeah.
And we're having a special work session this Wednesday morning from 9 to 11. We have Dr. Paul Connick coming into town, who's a renowned toxicologist, to come and sit on a panel to talk to the city council, because it's been referred to a subcommittee, which is great. The folks with Fluoride Free Austin have really done a lot of hard work to make sure that the facts are known by our officials and that they know that we don't want this in here. We don't want you spending our money, that it's not effective, and that it's poisoning us. And so they've done a lot of hard work, and I'm really grateful to know those folks too at Fluoride Free Austin. So that is on Wednesday morning from 9 to 11.
You've got Gary, he's on the Rule of Law Radio Network. The lovely Deborah Stevens and her husband Jerry. Great. Yeah, I mean there's just a lot of Okay, so with that we'll go to 10 minutes of KJFK 1996.
House as amended for conference forecast.
Political, religious, and whatnot. And through these different front groups,
D21
left-wing,
Family
right-wing,
Violence Services,
etc., they
Senate.
have created a mechanism to keep us
D22
fighting amongst
Alternative
ourselves,
to
keep us divided
Abortion,
up,
Senate
give
as
people the
amended with the method
opportunity,
of finance swap.
the thought that they are in control of their own destiny.
We'll
when
start
in
with the
fact they are
writers,
not.
capital
And the fact
budget
is,
writer, Senate.
Their goal is
Payments to
has
hospital
been
providers,
for over 200 years.
Senate.
Now they want what they stated on the back of our dollar bill. That is
Local
a new
reporting
world
on
order.
UPL, DISH, and indigent care expenditures, Senate. Bundle payments and Medicaid program,
And then
Senate.
they get, but let me just explain
Medicaid
how it's like a
emergency room
pyramid
use,
scheme.
House.
And they get everybody, all the
Oversight
different,
of state-supported
local
living
medias
center
and
closure,
all the different middlemen
Senate.
that go along.
Finger imaging contract, House. The contingency for Senate Bill 7 or Senate Bill 8, adopted as amended for the Senate. On
Now, it's like a pyramid scheme.
It is a Ponzi
And they
scheme.
get everybody, all the different local medias and all the different middlemen to go along with it, duped, mainly out of ignorance, and they put them on the payroll. The better agent you are, the higher you are put up on the echelon. It is a conspiracy of control at the top. All of us down here are serfs, and that's evident with things like the Korea War, the Vietnam War, where our young 18 and 19-year-old kids were sent off to 10,000 miles away from home for no better reason than these international bankers can get richer. And that's essentially what on all of these occasions, these oligarchies are financing both sides.
Well,
playing enemies upon the American people, presenting enemies to them so they will submit their young 18, 19-year-old boys to go fight and die in the swamps of Vietnam, where in fact all it is just a money-making racket for money, power, control.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it is. And I want to also mention that this also ties into the religious realms as well. What I call the obey Caesar churches. You've got the World Council of Churches.
Lay down to big government. Lay down.
Right,
Don't
obey Caesar. But let me just
don't ever stand up to anybody. Just be a servant.
It's what it is, and it's so it's a political control. It's a religious control of the mind, and then of course the Antichrist media, and that's essentially what it is.
well, I like that little funny
They
term.
play the game like centers.
Hold on.
Public education.
Excuse me, sir. None of this is real. You can't prove one single shred of what you're saying. How dare you? You are a serious travesty. In fact, I am very afraid of you militant-type people. No one in powerful positions thinks how to accentuate and drive forward their power. No, everything magically happens in this world, Mr. Davis. And
It's all happening by coincidence.
That's right. It's a coincidence theory. If you had any understanding of social dynamism in this world today, you would understand. But obviously you don't. No. I want a car salesman, the media, walks up to you, this analogy, and says, don't ask me any questions about this car, just buy it. Because if you ask me any questions, you're a conspiracy theorist, and you'll be shunned, and you'll be laughed at for thinking that there could be any manipulation and control. Forget the fact. Don't ever ask any questions. Never look under the waters. Never think, that anything could be going on. And past that, something that really angers me, and I'm glad you're here to talk about this, is that CIA people have defected now. It's come forward. It's been on Discovery Channel on, CIA Secret Warriors. I saw on Discovery Channel that the CIA people admitting that they've been running in drugs since 1945 and after to fund secret operations. FBI crime labs, it was in the paper, even the Osprey State's been printed it, that they admitted, and now they're calling it a mistake. That the FBI agents came forward and said, I admit it. We have been tampering with evidence. I submit the allowed evidence. It's done, and then my superiors change it to whatever they want. And that's called a mistake by the Austin American statesman. Going and shooting ducks like Hillary Clinton wants to make you think. Militias are there. They're the teeth and the strength of the Constitution. Without firearms, evil men and tyrants flourish. And that's why we've got to have it. It wasn't put there for hunting. Sure.
Yeah, I've got National Guardsmen and the military are under control of the state. That's what that is. They're paid by the state. They're on the payroll of the state. So if we're contending, and I am,
we need a counterbalance.
that this particular state and corporate de facto government that we're living under is fraudulent, corrupt, and treasonous, then we have to have some kind of counterbalance, meaning militias, an armed militia outfit that's independent from the state, not on the state payroll, to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government.
David? And you shoot a policeman on the side of the street for no reason, you should be hung high, electrocuted.
You should shoot anybody.
Absolutely. We're not condoning violence.
What I'm contending, now I'm not speaking for Alex, but what I'm contending, Jeff Davis here on this program, is that this current treasonous government that's nothing more than a puppet government for the New World Order is the threat to our national security.
That's what George Bush calls
it. We need to have, if we can't take this government back through elections, which I believe are fraudulent, through the normal means that we're supposed to be able to take our country back, then by golly, if they keep taking our rights away from us, continue to pound their New World Order agenda on us, then we have no other choice, I believe, than to take up the Second Amendment.
Well, David, do you have any closing comments? Because we're fixing to roll into a break. Yes, folks, me and Jeff Davis will be back. We don't want to control your life. We don't want to tell you how to live. We don't want to do any of this. All we want you to do is think for yourself and realize that we need some counterbalances to the rapid onset of the growth of military in this country. And I mean police forces. I've had SWAT team commanders, police tell me they don't like what's going on. They think things are fishy. They know too much federal money's coming into local police forces. And here it is right here, the New York Times, Wednesday, April 23rd, 1997. Whitewater Council, this is last Wednesday's, Whitewater Council says he has evidence of obstruction of justice. Now listen to this, and I'll go to the calls. Go back to Jeff. Washington, April 22nd. The Whitewater prosecutor, Kenneth W. Starr, told a federal court today that he had found extensive evidence of obstruction of justice and that he needed more time to complete his investigation, which is centered on the political and personal affairs of President Clinton and his wife Hillary.
We're back.
We're back.
You have something to tell us?
Well, school's over for me.
Uh-huh.
College is over, and college is over for a lot of people. But I had problems with my class, and I think my professor didn't like me.
Oh.
He just gave me... It's one of my first Fs that I ever got it, and I got an F. Just an F. It's F. There's nothing even pretty about it. I got an F on I got a D- on the first exam, F on the second exam, and then I did it in my mind, and there's even if I got an A on the third exam, I still would have gotten an F.
What is this a class in?
It was called Third World Politics, and it was...
And he knows about that?
What?
Your professor, he knows about that?
Of course he does.
I don't know.
It's his class.
I'm not buying it. What does he know? What's his qualifications for knowing about that?
Oh, it's his field of study. He's from Spain. That's what he studies.
Okay.
Is third world
Okay,
politics.
but Spain's not a third world country, but okay.
Well, the last debate. Okay, this is relevant to Jeff Davis' show because the last debate was about proving that there'd be a one world authoritative government, competitive authoritative government. And I go, oh my God, this is a trap. You want me to prove it? Of course I can. Of course I can prove this, but this is some kind of trap because my second exam, I started talking too much about the free market, and I think he didn't like that. My first exam, I took the Latin American side. It was about interventionism in Latin America, and I took the Latin American side, so that was wrong.
I'm sorry. What is the Latin American side in intervention?
Intervention. When we were
I don't know what you mean.
A U.S. intervention in Latin America.
Yeah.
What happened during a lot of their wars is
Yes.
that the United States started kind of aiding them.
Yes.
To manipulate the outcomes.
Right.
And typically the United States would support the side that was less socialist, even if that side was completely corrupted.
Fascist or...
Yeah, and not even democratic, just...
Right, just military dictatorship, right.
Yeah, well, the thing is with
so what is
YouTube...
your point? What did you say? What would you say that was wrong, according to this professor?
Well, it seems that, I have to actually remember the test question, and it was several months ago, but, when I was reading through the readings, it seemed that the governments that were able to take over and establish a new government were the ones that were able to stand up to America, and the ones that failed were the ones that were not able to stand up to America. What? HB 9? Well, SB 9. SB 9, we're supposed to meet up about that tomorrow, right?
Yeah, 8:30.
At 8:30 in the morning. There's a couple amendments to that bill, and it's kind of scary because I read the new bill, and wow, we're getting a real bad echo here. Okay, and the new bill, it's going to make it illegal for people to carry pepper spray, like chemical dispensers, and illegal to carry pepper spray.
Yeah, well, Lorraine has read the latest version of the bill, which I have not, and
I thought that
no, it's just regular citizens. You can't carry
militia
it.
is being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Wouldn't pepper spray fall into that category?
Right. It's not just pepper spray. It's knuckles too, machine guns, things like that. But pepper spray is on that list.
Well, that's quite a range.
Yeah. You can't buy, sell, carry, transport, and it does say chemical dispensing devices, and that's kind of it would be kind of
Weapons
a surprise
of mass destruction.
because I'm sure there won't even be any publicity that this is illegal. And then they're also setting up the checkpoints at the same time, well, at least they're trying to. So you're driving around innocently, thinking that you are abiding the law, that you're a law-abiding citizen with your pepper spray, and they pull you over and they notice there's pepper spray in there, and then they charge you with a crime. Would that be fair?
No.
No, of course not.
More revenue generation.
Mm-hmm. And there's also this thing into the bill where they're making Texas Rangers, giving them kind of the same abilities as cops, except they can't drive patrol cars, but they can drive around with cops and pull people over, and they've got the same rights as well. And that's also in there. And that wasn't in there before. So they're sneaking some stuff in there. So, closing comments? Well, I really appreciate everything that Tag Texas is doing, and I hope that they keep fighting the good fight.
You know we will.
Okay, any other closing comments?
Well, I do want to ask you. I'm going to go back to your class. It sounds to me like you failed this class not because you didn't know the history or the facts, but because you expressed opinions that differed from the professor's opinions.
Maybe I did that in the first exam, but the second exam, actually, I did recite his opinions. And he still said it was wrong, so I don't know. I've tried really hard, and it's really difficult to be in that position because I don't even know if I can confront him. He's like irrational. Major? Political science.
No, what's your major?
Political science.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. I don't know if it'll be that much longer. I'm thinking about changing my major, but.
And why were you taking a class in third world politics?
Because I'm interested in that.
Okay.
It's like what I always talk about on the Jeff Davis show.
Yes.
I'm really interested in third world politics, especially Mexican politics.
Okay. I just wonder what you would do with that degree.
Probably talk some more on public access.
Uh-huh. Okay. What job you would get with that degree? I don't know.
I don't know. Just write papers, and I don't know. I guess you're right. You're making a good, valid point there.
Well, I thought you were studying theater, so I didn't understand.
Well, I'm studying that too. It's my minor. So, yeah,
okay.
both of them.
See, I can understand that. That would lead to a job, but I don't understand.
Oh, well, thank you guys for having me on again. It's always nice to be around you folks. And I just would encourage anybody who's interested in getting involved, please do so. Tagtexas.org is the website. We meet on the last Monday of every month. And like I said before, it's a real casual environment. Just show up. It's happy hour before 7, so you get $1.70. Best freedom fighters in Central Texas.
All right.
Oh, definitely. No doubt about it, Jeff. And thank you, Heather, for being on the show. We appreciate that and all the good work that you're doing.
Well, thank you.
And I hope you continue to do that.
Well, I guess we were wrapping up. We got about 45 seconds left here. I'll put in a shameless plug for Live on Sunday nights at 8 on 90.1 FM and ruleoflawradio.com. And you can also check out the archives there at Rule of Law Radio. And also the Rule of Law 90.1 is having an event this Thursday at 501 Studios. And I'm sorry I don't remember the address, but it's Thursday night. And they're having a big thing to support 90.1 FM. So check that out and show up.
That's at 5th Street and 35.
Thank you.
See you next time. Thank you for watching.